My dad looked straight at me and said, "We spent your savings on someone better." No hesitation, no blink, just the truth. The room tightened around me. The clink of Noah's fork, my mom's fake cough, the dim hum of the dining light. I finally asked, "Better than me?" That was when Grandpa stood. Slow but sharp, his expression turning to stone. But the real betrayal didn't start at that table. My name is Ava, and for most of my life, silence was survival. I grew up in a home where asking for less made you good, and needing nothing made you loved. I packed my own lunches, walked myself to school, learned not to ask because Noah always needed more. He had potential, as everyone liked to say. And somehow that became our responsibility. Birthdays, achievements, small victories, mine were practical. As were celebrated, but I believed it. I believed the system was fair. At 16 I started working and saved every dollar. Dad helped me open a savings account for my future, and I trusted him. By 23, I was on my own in a tiny city apartment, finally building a life with my own hands. Every other weekend I visited home, mostly for Grandpa, who asked the questions no one else dared to. I didn't know then that he sensed the truth before I did. One tired Wednesday evening, everything shifted after work. I checked my bank account. Like always, the number didn't make sense. I refreshed, blinked, checked again. The account wasn't low, it was nearly empty. Payments, transfers, withdrawals I didn't recognize appeared one after another. Someone had been quietly draining my savings. The next day at my parents' house, the clues fell into place. Mom hummed over the stove. Noah sat on the couch with a brand new expensive laptop. Dad said it was time I had something decent for class. He said class. New programs, supplies, investments. When I questioned Mom, she waved everything away. "You're independent. You don't need much." Later I confronted Dad. "There's money missing," I said. He didn't flinch. "We used it." He replied, "For your brother. He needs chances. You don't." He said it like it was common sense. That night, something in me snapped. I checked the same drawer Dad had opened earlier, and found a folder with my name on it. Loan paperwork prepared under my identity. This wasn't a mistake, it was planned, and fear finally turned into resolve. I barely slept that night. By morning every thought had sharpened in a purpose. During lunch I confided to my friend Lily. She listened with wide eyes and said, "Ava, that's illegal." But she also asked a question no one else had. "Are you gonna do something about it?" And for the first time, I realized I would. After work I drove to Grandpa's house. He opened the door before I could knock, already sensing something was wrong. I laid everything out. The missing money, Dad's confession, the loan paperwork. Grandpa's jaw tightened with every detail. "They're counting on your silence," he said. "Document everything." So I did. Statements, dates, every unauthorized withdrawal. That weekend, my parents planned a family dinner because Grandpa would be in town. I didn't go early. I arrived exactly on time, a folder in my bag and a steady heartbeat. For the first moment in weeks, something in the air felt off. Mom moved nervously, no assault. Dad watched silently, and Grandpa studied all of us with sharp eyes. The stage was set long before the first plate was served. Dinner began with forced small talk, but the tension was a quiet scream. Then Dad said it again, casually, like reciting a recipe. "We spent your savings on someone better." Mom froze. Noah stopped chewing. Grandpa lifted his head slowly. I asked, "Better than me?" Dad replied, "Your brother needed support. You didn't." Grandpa stood. Voice low and dangerous. "Name that someone now." Dad tried to dismiss him. That was his mistake. I placed a folder on the table, each page proof of what had been taken. "These were in your drawer," I said. Noah's confusion quickly turned into shock. "Mom," whisper excuses. Dad defended himself with cold logic. "Ava doesn't need expensive things. She manages." Grandpa slammed his hand on the table. "That makes her exploited." The truth finally shattered the room. Grandpa demanded repayment. Every dollar, and the destruction of the loan paperwork. When Dad tried to argue, Grandpa warned him of legal consequences. After a long suffocating silence, Dad broke. "Fina. We'll return it." I gathered my folder. "I'm going home. And for the first time, leaving felt like claiming freedom. The next weeks passed quietly, like the slow settling after a storm. My parents returned the money in tense installments, avoiding eye contact, avoiding apologies. Grandpa checked on me often, bringing groceries, reminding me I wasn't alone. Noah visited one afternoon, hands trembling as he admitted, "I'm trying to do better." And I believed him. Life in my apartment began to feel lighter. I rebuilt my budget, repaired my sense of safety, and planted new boundaries where old wounds had been. I still visited my parents sometimes, but everything had changed, and maybe it needed to. A boundary isn't a wall. It's a line that finally says, "This far, no further." They stop crossing mine. I'm building a future on my own terms now, when they don't get to rewrite or drain. And if you've ever had to stand up to the people to protect you, remember this. You're not wrong for wanting respect. You're not wrong for taking your life back, and you're not alone.